Hello and welcome to Anfield for a huge game which has a big say in the title race. So the sprinklers have changed their direction.
Yes,
so
thankfully.
I think we're okay. I've got Maka, of course, alongside me. Liverpool and Manchester City, you know only too well. This is a massive occasion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge game. It's always a huge game, isn't it? Every single year we talk about how big the game is.
Feels bigger than ever.
And I think it is. I think you're right. I think the fact that it's not Klopp against Guardiola anymore, it's Arne Slot. So in that respect, it's not big, but the nuances of City in a poor form, so many points behind Liverpool, etc., seemingly makes this game, you know, one that everybody wants to watch.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit more about Slot because he seems to have changed the game, sort of controlled it. It seems a little slower. They don't concede in the last 15 minutes. You didn't think it could get any better than under Klopp, but it seems to.
To be honest, I thought he'd fit in seamlessly because of the choice of bringing him in, and he played the right style of football. I didn't expect the results to go as well as they have done.
Especially European.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the Real
European
Madrid
nights,
one.
they've been very, very impressive. I mean, they caught Real Madrid, let's be honest, with a lot of injury worries themselves, and that helps. But you can't take anything away from Liverpool because they're playing very, very well. You know, they look very dominant at times, and you know, results speak for themselves, don't they? And he's done an incredible job. I think most fans are, you know, extremely happy.
They're delighted. I think some of them wanted different managers, but I think they're quite happy now.
yeah, I think so.
I want to talk about Curtis Jones. He's been phenomenal.
Yes.
It seems like a breakout season. Obviously, he's always been here through the academy. He's now got his call up for England, scored against Greece. How impressed have you been with him, and do you think that he's a mainstay?
Well, yeah, I think he is now.
Yeah.
I think he is. I think when the big games came around, particularly last week against Madrid, it'd be interesting to see the starting lineup today. We know Liverpool have got a couple of injury worries themselves, so we'll wait and see who changes round. But I mean, I've known Curtis for a long time. I am slightly biased. I've known him from the academy at under 18 level, under 21 level. I've always supported him. I think he's, as you rightly said, he's in the form of his life. The England call up, becoming a father, you know, these little things just help you grow. And you know, Curtis
Jones is on the bench.
He's going to be on the bench, yeah. So I mean, Sloboslai, of course, they can choose from a number of people: Sloboslai, McAllister, Gravenberch, you know, Cody Gakpo. They've got so many people up top, which they've got a plethora to choose from. So that's really nice. But yeah, Curtis has been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I'm thrilled to bits for him.
Talk to me about Pep Guardiola and this, whether you call it a blip or if you think there's something more to it. But it is the worst period that he's been through, and everyone's wondering how he will respond and whether that will be today here at a stadium that they find very difficult.
Yeah, there's no better place to respond to all your critics and all your doubters and all the people who have been writing negative thoughts about him than beating Liverpool today. It's going to be difficult, like it is every single year, and it was difficult last year for them, wasn't it, particularly in the second half. But yeah, it is. I think it is a blip. They've lost Rodri, who's a wonderful player. You know, he's the person that gels City together. They lost Kevin De Bruyne for a while, and he's still finding his fitness levels. And they're just low on confidence, Alison. There's no other way. You go through it as a football player. You can't just have all the highs all the time. You need a few lows to jump you back into action, to kickstart your football. And they need to gather round. They need to work hard, and they need to get a result. And if they get a result today, it'll be blip. What blip? But the fact that they followed it up with a really poor performance against Feyenoord in the Champions League, which was very disappointing, they need to respond today.
Yeah. We've been speaking a long time and we haven't mentioned Mo Salah.
I know.
We have to, don't we? It was interesting, wasn't it, after the Saints game where he said he's more out than in.
Yes.
He seems to be showing a message, ripping off his shirt. You know, he may be getting on, but he keeps himself in incredible shape.
Oh, God bless us, doesn't he just?
And he seems to be getting better. When you actually look at his all his statistics under Slot as well, he seems to have really improved in all the attacking areas as well. And Fenway love a stat. I mean,
who doesn't love a stat? Yeah, I don't think there's any qualms about how he's playing. I think everybody appreciates how he's playing. I think, listen, we're not privy to these conversations. Liverpool, of course, are speaking. Liverpool are, of course, speaking to his agent, and it all depends on, I presume, the nuances of his contract. How long does he want? Does he want 5 years? Does he want 3? Does he want 4? Because there has to be something sensible in the middle where you think they can meet. I think he wants to stay. You know, I don't know whether it's a financial aspect, because he certainly earns enough money off the field. So I don't think it necessarily was that. You know, these contracts nowadays with these superstar players, are very, very complex, aren't they? Image rights, this, you know, trading this. So I don't know. I hope he, like most people, I hope he stays. I hope Virgil stays. I hope Trent stays.
There's a lot of contracts to be done.
Yeah, there's a lot of contracts to be done.
Maybe Curtis to have an extension as
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think if you go back to 21, 22, we had Firmino, Mane, and Salah all up, and it didn't bother them really. They were going for the quadruple, weren't they, to the end? So I don't think it'll necessarily affect them. But of course, like most people around here, you'd want them all to stay, because when they are in the team, they benefit the side, and they'll be nigh on impossible to replace.
Yeah, absolutely. My final question to you, of course, is about the title race. Now, I know we're only in December. Pinch punch first, and then I'll get to. But can we start talking about the title race, because the lead is huge and could be even bigger?
Yeah, I wouldn't. To be very honest, I wouldn't, Alison, because you're only 2 or 3 injuries away from, you know, starting to struggle. You know, if they lost Virgil, if they lost Mo Salah, Canate's out, Conor Bradley's out. I know Trent will probably come in, I don't know the size, but you're only 2 or 3 injuries away from, you know, from starting to fail or losing your best players. So I think, you know, people like to make these grandiose opinions, and then they end up changing their mind 2 minutes later. I'm not one of them.
You keep it real, Steve.
They're in an amazing position at this moment in time, and if they win today and they go 11 points clear, they shouldn't be caught by Manchester City. They shouldn't be, of course they shouldn't. But there's other teams playing well, and Arsenal have got their, you know, they've got most of their bodies back now, and they're starting, and if they keep fit, they'll start to mount a challenge. But Liverpool are in an incredible position.
They certainly are. Maka, it's always a pleasure.
Pleasure,
Thank you so much.
seeing you.
Enjoy the game. It is a huge game. It is Liverpool against Manchester City here at Anfield.